Good morning, viewers. You're welcome to a fresh episode of DDM Morning Show in a new week. As always, I am joined by DDM News analyst Ibrahim Umar Wase. Ibrahim, you're welcome to DDM Morning Show today.
Thank you, Mr. Totukura. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right, today is Monday, August 25th, 2025, and we offer you these interesting stories. I am not desperate to be president, but to see a better Nigeria. That's coming from Atiku Abubakar. Some say he's borrowing Peter Obi's mantra. And then we shall move to 2027, drop Shetima and lose the North. APC wants Tinubu. And finally, Nigeria hosts Julius Malema. What does Africa's revolutionary voice want? Now, these are interesting stories, and you cannot afford to lose the analysis today. Let's take it away with the first story. Last Saturday, former Vice President and 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, delivered a controversial statement, emphasizing that his ambition is not for personal presidency, but for the betterment of Nigeria. Speaking during an affirmation ceremony for new defectors in the African Democratic Congress in Lagos, Atiku underscored his vision for a better, secure, and prosperous country, rather than a mere political title. Represented by Professor Ola Olateju of Achievers University, Atiku declared, and I quote, "It is not about Atiku being the president. It is about having a better government that can deliver for Nigerians. The must is for him to see Nigeria deliver as wished by all." He reiterated that the ADC is seen as a movement for change, not just a political party championing a new beginning for Nigeria away from politics as usual. End of quote. The former vice president emphasized collective decision-making regarding the party's presidential candidate for 2027, affirming free and fair contest for the position and pledging support for whoever emerges. This contrasts sharply with the narrative of desperation often ascribed to seasoned politicians and highlight a strategic repositioning focused on integrity and inclusive governance. Atiku's statement comes amid shifting political alignments ahead of Nigeria's 2027 general elections. He and other opposition leaders, including former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, have aligned under the ADC platform to mount a formidable challenge against the ruling All Progressives Congress and President Bola Tinubu. The phrase, "not desperate to be president, but to see a better Nigeria," in quote, echoes Peter Obi's well-known mantra, signaling a shared ideological stance that prioritizes Nigeria's progress over personal political ambition. This shared narrative aims to resonate with the populace tired of perennial political sagas and yearning for a genuine transformation. Now, Atiku's rhetoric also contrasts with past criticisms of political leaders driven by personal power. By rejecting personal desperation, he attempts to rebuild public trust, presenting himself and the ADC coalition as a credible alternative to the incumbent government, which faces criticism for economic challenges and governance issues. Now, this is DDM Morning Show. Let's talk about this development. It's a due process. He's a regular guest on this morning show. You are welcome to DDM Morning Show today, Mr. Due Process.
Yes, good morning, Dr. Raphael. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
All right. Okay. All right. So what's your take on this development? Atiku Abubakar saying that he's not desperate to be Nigeria's president, but to see Nigeria work, as Peter Obi always, enunciates. What's your take?
Yes, Mr. Raphael, your guess is as good as mine. You understand the situation for desperation is very clear. For him to make claim of not be desperate is something that found laughable, and the regular Nigerian style, trying to cajole the followers, Nigerians at large. I mean, that's just how I can describe it. It's trying to play on the intelligence of Nigerians, particularly the young people who are always the chunk of voters. out there. And I find it very laughable that he even chooses to stick to the mantra of Mr. Peter Obi, who has always been known for saying he's not desperate to be president and all that. But then, how can I convince myself that a man that ran for elections in 1993, before the advent of the current democracy that we currently enjoy, he ran for election against Moshood Abiola in 1993. He ran against, he contested alongside as vice president with Obasanjo. He contested against Jonathan, in 2011. Contested against Buhari in 20. He contested against Jonathan twice, right? No, once. He contested against Yaradua. He contested against Jonathan in 2011. He contested against Buhari in 2015. He contested against Buhari again in 2019. Contested against Tinubu in 2023. Now he's still talking about contesting in 2027. Someone is telling us that he's not desperate. You check it out. Do you believe him? For me, I will never believe such a person. Claim he's not desperate. Besides, he is not proven himself transparent enough to have attracted such confidence of the Nigerian people. This is somebody that have cases of alleged corruption hanging on his neck, right? His record as a public servant have always come under question. His source of wealth has come under question. And the same person has been contesting serially and losing serially. And still telling Nigerians that it's not desperate. I find it difficult to convince myself that a man who has been running for election, the seat of the presidency for over 30 years now, he convinced me that he is not desperate. This is laughing.
All right. Thank you very much for that opening statement. Let's take a few tweets from Nigerians reacting to this development. Kami Unique says, how can you say you are not desperate when every 4 years your name is on the ballots? Nigerians are not fooled. Just what you just echoed now, Mr. Due Process. Okay, let's take a second quote by Mezier, who said that Atiku Abubakar said he's not desperate to be president. If there is any truth in this statement, I think the best retirement gift Atiku will give himself at this point would be supporting Peter Obi, his one-time running mate, to take the lead. Atiku has been contesting and losing all along. He's always on the ballot in every election. It is time for him to accept the reality that he won't be president and leave the stage with his honor and dignity intact. And one of the unique qualities of a good dancer is knowing when to vacate the stage when your ovation is still loud. Now, what does it take? It's a due process. Many people are telling him, all right, you said you are not desperate. Now, allow your once running mate, Mr. Peter Obi, to, come to the stage, support him publicly. Now, while others are saying that would not be a tenable argument to say that he has been running. Of course, we know that to say that you're not desperate for power, but to see Nigeria work is a kind of idiomatic expression, or should I say figurative, because we know that for you to access power, for you to change Nigeria, for you to, deliver the ideologies on governance that you would like to give Nigerians, you will first of all have to access power. And you cannot do that without running for president or contesting for president. So what do you have to say to that?
Yes, for him to say he is not desperate and all that is one thing Atiku Abubakar has said in the past during the 2023 election. He said, I didn't think the grace was left all alone between, all presidential candidates' position were left for the southeastern politicians to contest. That he is not going to contest against Peter Obi. That he wouldn't have even contested. That is because it wasn't left alone for the Southeast solely, and that's the reason why he has come out to contest. Now, within the same fold of the coalition, he is still contesting the primaries. He's still dragging the ticket with Mr. Peter Obi, who won't be in the same party now. I mean, a coalition now, which is the ADC, supposedly. So, the same man is still convincing us that he's not desperate. I still cannot accept that explanation. Atiku Abubakar, from all indication, is desperate to be Nigeria's president. And a desperate man is out for everything, all for himself, right? And in terms of knowing when to quit the stage, is very humane that every human being, you know the right time to take a bow and step out of the stage. Atiku Abubakar ought to have step out of the stage right from 2023. I see no reason why a 2-year-old man in 2017, I mean 2027, will still be aspiring to be president. Where is the capacity? As it is currently now, Atiku Abubakar cannot walk freely. They cannot walk majestically, as it were. So, I mean, in the next 2 years, then he feels he can be more stronger or more fit to run for office. The office of the Nigerian president is the most tedious office. The office is so demanding. You have to be up and doing, you have to be signing. Your mental state is very important. You have to be very agile to meet up with meetings, meeting with different dignitaries across the world who are coming to seek meetings, audience with you as a sitting president. I see no reason why Nigeria keep presenting the old guard to pilot the affair of the country. We want to see a country where young people take responsibility, take charge of Aso and bring about good governance. Enough is enough. At their age, there's very little they can do, and particularly, there's no reason for him even thinking about 2027 because the age is no more there, the energy is no more there, everything is on the decline. Ability, intelligence, even credibility is not there in the first instance. So, what is he looking for?
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Ibrahim.
It's a due process has nailed everything down with regards to Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar has been contesting consistently since he left office as the vice president of this country from 2007 till death. And clearly it indicates desperation. And he talked about solving the problem of Nigeria. Clearly, he was part of the problem. If we're going to tell ourselves the truth, he was part of Olusegun Obasanjo's administration that led this country to the darkness we are currently suffering from. Don't forget, it was during that government that Nigeria lost nearly $16 billion in the power sector. Which led to the current darkness that we are suffering from. And he was part of the pioneers who pioneered the coming of the APC administration 2019. And clearly he has been consistent. There is a consistent pattern in his support for each candidate. He is trying to pave a way for himself. When he supported Buhari 2014, by the way, he contested with Buhari in the primary election, he lost. So when he contested with Buhari, there was an agreement that after Buhari spent one tenure, he's going to leave the power for another person to take over. And Atiku Abubakar was convinced that he was the better person to carry the job. And that was why he left the APC and joined the PDP 2019 to contest against Buhari, which he failed, had betrayed him. So going by that fact, you know that Atiku Abubakar is clearly saying that he's not desperate, he's laughable. He's clearly desperate to become the president of this country, going by the record he has. And second of all, Atiku Abubakar is in a full knowledge that Nigerians are not clinging to the old order no more. And he belongs to the old order. We need a new person, a person with a different ideology to come and steer us to the promised land. And clearly he's not the one, because he was part of the system that destroyed the country and put it down on its knees. So I would like to beg him now. It's one thing to make a wrong, but it's completely another thing to try and amend, to try and make amends. And the best way to make an amends now is to support the right candidate for the interests of Nigerians, for the interests of justice, equity, and fairness. Because I'm from the north, but I'm strongly against any other president in 2027. And I can tell you boldly, I would rather support Tinubu than support a northern candidate. And that's my stand, because I believe in the equity. If 2031, any southern candidate come and say, I am the best candidate to become president, is an insult for me. And for you to be just to people, you have to be in their shoes. So I am strongly against any northern presidency 2027. And with that, equity, fairness, justice, track record, credibility, capacity, he failed it all. So I'm not going to pretend that Atiku Abubakar is the right candidate. The best thing he could do for this country is to support the right candidate at this moment in time, and his sin will be forgiven by Nigerians. I don't know for God, but by Nigerians, I think his sins will be forgiven. So you should stop pretending. I don't think Nigerians are that stupid to be taking this kind of cheap propaganda anymore.
Right. When you talk about the old order, that might be a little bit subjective, because for some people, even the Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, might be regarded or addressed as being part of the old order, because he was running mate to Atiku in 2019, and he has once ruled or governed the state of Nigeria. Somebody like Showore would, in that respect, see him as part and parcel of the old order. What do you say on that?
All right, thank you very much for bringing this important, should I say, misconception, because Peter Obi does not belong to the old order. And I will tell you why. The old order is not based on a certain time frame. It's clearly based on ideology. The people that resonate with the common man currently, they don't belong to the old order. It has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with a particular time frame upon which you govern the country. It's clearly has to do more with someone's manifesto. If he resonates with the plight of the common man on the street. That's what we mean by the old order and the new order, clearly not based on age bracket. Peter Obi is 60-something today. But going by what he has been doing, tell me, who would a Nigerian youth support between Atiku and Peter Obi, for example, or even Showore that is coming out to say all this kind of rubbish. He also belongs to the old order by his own parameters. He contested for the seat of presidency. How many times he contested previously, and he contested recently, 2023. So if the parameter is based on that time frame, he himself belongs to the old order. But that's not the time frame used for measuring old order and new order. It's clearly based on ideology. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I love that. Ideology determines whether somebody is an old order in the politics of Nigeria, not whether the person has ruled any state in Nigeria. That's a good one. Now, let's take our second story. North Central All Progressives Congress, APC Forum, has issued a stark warning to President Bola Tinubu on August 22, 2025, urging him not to drop Vice President Kashim Shettima as his running mate for the 2027 presidential election. The forum cautioned that altering the Muslim-Muslim ticket arrangement could lead to a loss of up to 80% of the northern Muslim votes, the party's crucial electoral base in that region. The warning was communicated in the statement released in Abuja by the forum's chairman, Alhaji Saleh Zazaga. The group insisted on maintaining the status quo, highlighting that the successful Muslim-Muslim ticket in the 2023 election was instrumental in Tinubu's victory. They argued that the current agitation for Shettima's replacement, largely fueled by critics, who did not vote for Tinubu in 2023 lacks genuine concern for the party's success and is driven by mischief and political sabotage. Zazaga posed a critical question to the skeptics. Even if Tinubu drops Shetima for a Christian candidate, what guarantees exist that voters who supported opposition candidate Peter Obi in 2023 would shift their allegiance to Tinubu? The forum pointed to the continued strong support for Shetima and the Muslim ticket in the north-central Nigeria and stressed the presence of influential Christians in the APC government from the Middle Belt, dispelling fears of alienating that region. Now, the Muslim ticket featuring Tinubu and Shetima, both northern Muslims, sparked controversy during the 2023 election, but ultimately contributed to APC's victory. The critics argue that the ticket risks alienating the Christian electorate, especially in the Middle Belt and southern Nigeria. Since then, discussions have intensified within the APC on whether to retain Shetima or replace him to broaden voter appeal. All right, Mr. Due Process, let's have your take on this.
Yes, in respect to whether Tinubu should retain Shetima as a VP or he chooses a Christian northerner as VP, whichever arrangement that is being adopted, it will not stop Tinubu from sinking. Whether he retains Shetima already, the relationship is sour already as it is. Even with the news of possibility of being replaced alone have an effect. It has cracked the relationship, and I don't see it mending, even in pretense, because Shetima has already gone into the Cold War. By his silence over the few months now, there has been, close Cold War between them, and I don't see that ending anytime soon. On the part of Nigerian people that decide the bulk of who wins at the poll is, it doesn't make a difference because over the years, election upon election, Nigerian people have always been at the receiving end. We've learned that no tribe, no religion buys bread cheaper. Right. On this basis, anyone that is still doing calculation on the basis of religion, basis of tribe, will fail. It is what you are bringing to the table, right? That if you are not there before, and if you are there now, and you are still promising as if you are in the campaign mode, sorry. Nigerians are hungry and they need solution. They don't need promises. You can't be in the helm of affair. I watched a video where Tinubu's convoy, over 100 jeeps in Lagos just yesterday, right? So it should be the frontliner, the headliner that should make it around on the national dailies, not who Tinubu decides to choose. Even if he lies, he should choose Jesus Christ as his running mate. Tinubu will lose. Even if he lies, he should choose Muhammad as his running mate. Doesn't stop Tinubu from losing. So the fact remains that Tinubu has failed. He has failed the majority of the Nigerian people. He has failed the southwestern states, because if you check out the number of critics that have come out to criticize the Tinubu administration, they are talking of the southwestern elites as well. Elites in this case says not necessarily by financial classification, it's based on intellectual classification. You have elites who come out to castigate his performance. There is shortfall of expectation. He has failed massively. In the North, he has no appeal. They are angry with him. There is an uprising in the North now. Anything that has to do with Tinubu, they don't want to see it. If they see the signpost, they'll destroy it. If they see the billboard, they'll destroy it. If they see any campaign vehicle they will likely destroy it. So is it in the middle belts that are always at the receiving ends of these Fulani headers, this insecurity, you know? I was trying to make a connect between Benue and Lagos to find out the next available some of these GFI that transports pepper to Lagos so that while returning back, they could come back with some goods from Ibadan. But I realized that the various feedback I got was that there's a drastic drop in this transaction. Many people have fallen off from the business because of the huge insecurity in Benue State. That is one. Two, because of the logistics involved. So you see, when the economy is falling, this one is going beyond whitewashing. What is being done for the Tinubu-led administration of social media by somebody paid cash activists, not even activists, because activists are people that stand for the freedom of humanity without necessarily being paid for it. Right? But these ones are being paid 20,000 per month to keep singing the praises. I watched a video where a governor of Ekiti State was lamenting badly that some of them are being paid, whereas they on the social media, they watch how they abuse the hell out of them without responding. He has confirmed the assertion that there are sections of the social medias that are being paid to whitewash their image. So what am I saying in essence? No matter whichever whose choice of people is being paid, it has no correlation with the outcome of 2027. Besides, it's not as if we even won in 2023. Right? The few voters that he got are more likely not to vote for him than to repeat the same mistake of 2023. And of course, those who did not vote for him, they'll be having more confidence never to consider voting for him. You can see how close, how narrow the opportunity of people going back in 2027 is. So, whichever choice of 2027 is not an issue, it's going to fail.
All right, it's going to fail, but that is not the thinking of some people. Now, let's take two reactions from Nigerians regarding this matter. Dr. Stanley says, Muslim ticket does not necessarily mean Shetima. Shetima could be replaced with an even more popular Muslim, end of quote. Now, one more quotation from Faradar, who says, you guys are just making a noise on a daily basis, undermining the strength of Tinubu is the greatest mistake you people are making. It would take magic for Obi or any opposition to enter Asarok. The only solution to stop this Tinubu and his demonic APC dynasty is a serious revolution, not coalition. Tinubu is a weapon formed against the growth of Nigeria. You guys want to challenge someone who has successfully captured INEC, judiciary, and security with mere words. Now, before I move to Mr. Ibrahim, due process, do you have any thing to lift from these quotations? Because he talked about even if Tinubu replaces or waves aside his current running mate, his current vice president, he could replace him with even more popular person. That is the point to note. And then the fact that the APC might have hijacked the judiciary and INEC.
Yes, replacing Shetima with a more, widely accepted Muslim, of course, in the old narrative of religious politics, it would be a wise decision. But what I'm saying in essence, I'm speaking based on the reality of the streets today. I've interacted with a number of, even today, I've received a call from Niger. He's not a Christian, he's a Muslim. He told me he has traveled from Lokoja back to Rafi. His local government is under insecurity. He told me he's gone there to get the structure of the local government and sent to me. Voluntarily. These are the things I'm talking about. So when people make the joke that voting will still go the line of religion, I don't look at them because they don't know what they're doing. Of course, there will be a set of fanatics that will always agree on the religious circle of decision making. even if their life is going for it. That is the fanaticism aspect of it. They are so fanatical that they don't care about their own welfareism. They care rather than, yes, let it be ruled by both Muslim president and Muslim vice president. That is all there. I know there are a set of those people. And those set of people, they are not people that you can heal overnight, right? Knowledge comes by learning, learning and unlearning as well. So with time, the effect, the message, the psyche in the north is changing. It's changing drastically. And the uprising that will be meted on any vote trigger come 2027 will be unimaginable. That is it. Obasanjo has repeatedly said we are sitting on the keg of a gunpowder. I see that happening in 2027. Should there be ongoing rigging plans, which I know a thief can never stop being a thief. But all days for the thief, one day for the owner. That one day I see it coming in 2027.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ibrahim.
All right, Mr. Tuchukurafel. With regards to whether giving a Muslim the tickets to be the running mate of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027, whether it's going to make impact or it's not going to make any impact. With regard to that, clearly it will make an impact. That's the fact. Most especially if they found somebody who is considered or who is accepted in northern part of Nigeria. That's the reality of things. I belongs to the region and I know the thinking of the common man there. It will make a huge impact. And political expediency-wise, it is a very, very strong move and strategic for him if he could do that. If he could change Tinubu, Shetima with a Christian in northern part of Nigeria, I don't think it will yield any positive result for him. Because I understand the fact that people are suffering in Nigeria, everywhere in the country. But I also understand the fact that Nigerians, up to now, they are not mature politically to do away with sentiments in choosing a leader. There are very few, and it is across the board, not just northern part of Nigeria. I would like to make some correction because that's the belief, general belief of people of southern part of Nigeria, that it is because of lack of enlightenment that maybe most of the people in northern part of Nigeria resolved to voting for, on the basics of religion or ethnicity or tribe or region. It is not like that. That's intellectually disingenuous to say that, because record has shown that it happens all over the country. Nigerians are more clinging to their sentiment. And it is not only in Nigeria. Political science has it that there are 4 different categories of voters. The first category of voters are those who vote for a candidate based on sentiment, and they form the larger portion of the electorate. Then the second portion are those who vote because of their interests, and that's the portion that form the political class. And the third portion are those who vote for candidates based on competence and capacity, and this form the intellectual class. And the last class are those who are not completely decisive. They are waiting for anybody to come and influence them among the first 3. So going by that, it is not only peculiar to Nigeria or northern part of Nigeria, it is peculiar to everywhere. That's why we say politics is an emotional investment. The person that invests more in the people has the highest number of votes. So it is not only northern part of Nigeria, sadly, and there is that distrust fueled by genuine concern from both the region. Last time I was giving you an example with the role played by our activists in Nigeria, most of our activists, and the role played by our leaders to divide the people. And I said both the activists and the politicians play the same role. The only difference is that the politicians are doing it deliberately because they know they are playing the game, while the activists, they are being lured into playing the game, and it is favoring the politicians. The politicians are being accused of what we call selective persecution. For example, if you as an Igbo person did something wrong, so they will just go straight to the point, like, cha, they will arrest you. But if me as a Hausa man did the same thing, they will be like going like this in a zigzag shape. Even if at all, they will arrest me. That's what we call selective persecution. But the activists, they are also accused of selective morality. And it is even more wrong than selective persecution. If something happened to a particular group of people, they don't give a damn about it. If the same thing happened to a particular different particular group of people that they choose to talk about, then they start talking about it. And the people that belongs to that category of people that feel that, no, these people hate me, will never trust them. And trust is the most expensive treasure in the world. So, for example, I gave an example with what happened in Urumi the last time. And some people, activists, will come online and be justifying some of the things that happen. That's lazy activism. So everybody from the north that will look at it, people like me that fought, and I'm being consistent in all front, whether it happened in the north or it happened in the south. Once I see that, I will see that these people just hate me. Because the only reality here, the only consistent pattern is that when it happened to me, they don't care. So why should I care about what they are advocating for? That means they themselves, they are not less than the politicians. Why wouldn't I then align with the people that show more love to me than those who clearly show that they hate me? And that's what an average northerner is suffering from. And that's the reality of things. It is not about enlightenment. Let me tell you categorically, an average northerner is more enlightened, is more politically oriented than a southerner. And we know how to play the game more than any other person in the country. It is a fact. So it is not about enlightenment, it's about trust. The people that are advocating for that, how much are we going to trust them and what they have been advocating for? So that's why I tend to sit with a lot of people, trying to convince them that Peter Obi is the right candidate. They have nothing to say about him. Most of the criticism come based on what people posted. The type of people that are championing his cause. They are not consistent. They hate us. They don't like us. So why should we trust him? So the trust issue is the biggest problem we have in Nigeria. And that's the root cause of the problem. That's the crux of the problem, not the enlightenment issue. Because when Buhari came on board 2015, him and Goodluck Jonathan, if we're talking about credibility at that time, there is nobody that would tell me categorically at that time, before Buhari became president, that Goodluck Jonathan had a better credential than him. And I can tell you the credential he had at the time. He served Nigeria before he contested 2015. He had the same, I think there is no other candidate apart from Peter Obi that has the financial frugality, the record he has in Nigeria. And he did well in most of the places he served. But the people of southern part of Nigeria, vast majority of them did not support him. And clearly it was based on sentiment at that time. And it would be gullible of a northerner to say it was because they are not enlightened. Maybe if they are enlightened, they will see the way we see. No, it is sentiment, clearly. So it is the same thing that is happening to an average northerner today. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ibrahim. Our last story. At the Nigerian Bar Association 2025 Annual General Conference held in Enugu, Julius Malema, leader of South Africa's economic freedom fighters, delivered his stirring keynote speech that captured the intersection of law, activism, and liberation. Malema emphasized the inseparable link between the legal profession and the cause for African liberation, calling members of the legal fraternity instruments of justice. He underscored that while activists wage battles through protests and government participation, lawyers interpret laws, practice justice, and fight in courts to defend the defenseless. Malema praised the profession for its sacrifice, intellect, and commitment, highlighting the unique tools lawyers use, indigenous law, common law, constitutional mandates to not only seek personal victories, but to establish laws that govern societies fairly for generations. Malima's message resonated deeply with the conference's theme, Stand Out and Stand Tall, encouraging legal practitioners not simply to uphold laws, as they are, but to bravely oppose unjust laws rooted in neocolonialism and oppression. He reminded attendees of Africa's painful history, slavery, colonial exploitation, denial of dignity, and pointed to a historical truth. What was once legal was often fundamentally unjust. The call was clear. Lawyers today must be agents of change who identify, speak out against, and dismantle laws that perpetuate corruption, inequality, and state oppression. Malema framed this duty neither as an endorsement of anarchy nor lawlessness, but as an imperative to uphold true justice and the dignity of African peoples. Malema's speech at a premier legal conference in Nigeria emerges amid growing demands across Africa for transformative justice. Countries like Nigeria and South Africa face persistent governance challenges, endemic corruption, poverty, and leaders using state power to entrench themselves, challenges that Malema's EFF vehemently opposes. Now, his address expertly bridged activism with jurisprudence, sending a powerful message that the legal profession should no longer be a passive enforcer, but a proactive challenger of unjust systems that harm the marginalized. The implication is profound. Malema invites Nigeria's legal community into a bold partnership with activists to fight corruption and inequality using the rule of law not as a tool for oppression, but as a vehicle for liberation. Now, this marks a shift in the role of law from maintenance of order to an instrument for genuine social transformation. All right, let's talk about it. Mr. Due Process, how significant do you think Malema's visit to Nigeria is? Because many people are, suspicious of him. This is a man, of course, he is in the opposition in South Africa, but his rhetoric, his extremist ideologies, people are saying that the NBA in Nigeria should not have invited such a man who has once called or several times called for the killing of the white men in his country. But here is he. What do you think about it?
Yes, I was very excited watching Malema's speech. I listened to him, I listened to him wholesomely. Malema presented a very Pan-African speech. I listened from beginning to end. Malema is a blessing to Africa, not just South Africa. And he's rooted in a country where the blacks are shortchanged, where the blacks have no rights, where the rights of the black man in South Africa is being alienated. And Malema imagines he has come from a very humble background, and he has ensured that he dedicates his time, his energy, his resources, his voice to the freedom of the black race. And I'm very happy seeing that he was invited to Enugu, where he presented a very powerful Pan-African speech. There's no way you be a black man across the globe and you'll not be proud of Malema, except you're a product of European exploiters who have come to exploit Africa. Then you will hate him. But if you are an African that feel cheated over the years, over the centuries, then you'll be happy to have a person in respect of Julius Malema. I'm proud to be an African when I listen to his speech. His speech resonates a lot of things within me, and I feel more dedicated to the activism towards the Rescue Nigeria mission as well as Africa. He made a very key point how Nigeria under Murtala Mohammed came to South Africa, helped them to fight the appetite war, said enough was enough, and the time for the African freedom was rightly rooted in the speech of Murtala Mohammed, who put his foot on the ground, sent his soldiers, and raised millions of dollars to rescue South Africa from the apartheid regime, and is a very, very commendable leader. And I'm happy to see him in Parliament making all the arguments for the black race. Well, he's very crude in his approach, but the current racism that we are facing as a continent calls for such approach, and I commend him heavily for all he stands for and all he represents. And I also want to encourage Nigeria opposition to learn take a cue from him. He doesn't pet his words. He said it so blunt and so crude. He has no respect for any super race that looks down on the African race. He stands for Pan-Africanism and is always clear in doing that. So I commend him for that, and I thank him for visiting Nigeria, for raising a lot of more comrades to join the Pan-African team.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim.
All right, Mr. Tuchukurafel, thank you for having me once again. And you know, I like Julius Malema so much. He's one of the people I look up to, and I missed that program. I wanted to went there myself and see the person that I've been trying to become like in the future. One thing about Malema, you might dislike what he's saying, but one thing is he is saying the truth. Even those who dislike what he's saying confirm that what he's saying is the truth. And you make mention of calling for the killing of white people in South Africa. No, that's not accurate. There was a chance in South Africa, kill the Boers, the farmers, and the Boers mean the farmers, which predominantly are the white folks. But it was just a chant during the liberation movement from the apartheid, chanted by the ANC, headed by Nelson Mandela. Will you call Nelson Mandela someone who was calling for the killing of white folks? No, when he became the South African president, his action shows that. So it was just a chant. And he, you know, South Africa is a democratic state. They went to code some of the political parties, most especially political parties that are predominantly white. They took that matter to court that the EFF should stop chanting that chant today. And they won in the court. And in a democratic society, anything that passed through the scope of law, it is, should I say, approved within that scope of law. So he's not calling for the killing of South Africans, and there was no record whatsoever that the EFF party have attacked any white folk in South Africa. It was just a chant, and some white folks in South Africa understands that, and that's why some of the people that followed the South African president to Donald Trump, they said the same thing. They said it was just a chant. He was chanting that, and it was not part of the government policy because they were defending their government. But there was no record whatsoever that the EFF were attacking the white folks in South Africa. It might sound absurd, but that's the reality of their country. I'm not part of the people that support people to be chanting, kill a particular group of people, even though it's a chant. They are not taking any action, but I'm not in support of it, because it may sound inflammatory, it might sound derogatory to this particular group of people that you're calling for their death. But at the same vein, this is the law of the land, and they pass through the code, and the code approved that it is not derogatory, it is not inflammatory, and it is not in any way calling for the killing of the white folks in South Africa. So I love Julius Malema, and if I will say Julius Malema, he's one of the people that I look up to, only behind, in time of Pan-Africanism, is only behind Professor Patrick Lumumba. Is the person that if I see this man, I love him so much. And I love Julius Malema also. And we lack this Pan-Africanist in Africa. We just have our own sort of activists. And most of our activists, they are being, their activism is fueled by emotion, not by reason, not by even ideology. They are just seeing the things that is happening to them. Yeah, genuinely, they need to have concern over. But they forget about the right of others in the process. But this is not Julius Malema. What's the name? Professor Patrick Lumumba. They stand for the truth, not the popular opinion. They stand for what's right, not what's generally accepted. And that's the definition of activism. Thank you.
Right, that's the much we can take on DDM Morning Show today. Thank you for your contribution and time, Mr. Due Process.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, viewers, thanks for your contribution also and your time. If you love this video, do not hesitate to hit the like button, make your comments, share the video, and subscribe to our channel, DDM TV, for you to get more insights on trending stories in Nigeria and beyond. I'm Toshku Raphael, joined by Ibrahim Umar Wase. See you tomorrow for a fresh edition. Bye-bye.